And there's a lot of children out in the U.S. everywhere who have dreams and maybe have confidence, but they're faced with adversity.
Yes.
Where not only is their families telling them they can't do anything, but their peers or their environment. What would you say to someone who may be in that situation?
To have blinders, you know what I mean? Have blinders, because you can't listen to all that negativity. Everything you just mentioned, by the way, happened to me. You know, I came from a low-income community in Massachusetts. Hello. Can I be any further away from Hollywood?
Massachusetts.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
California.
Most people are here and they're still struggling. But
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, there are people living in cars trying to become actors, you know, struggling actors. You hear about it all the time. And there I was in Massachusetts, living in a low-income community. You know, my family didn't have any money. My mom was a single mom who held 2 and 3 jobs to put food on the table. And I had uncles who were telling me, well, you want to be a model, Susie? You're never going to be a model. Even when I went to go compete for Miss USA, but even before that, Miss Massachusetts USA,
Really?
I had family members who, you know, I was asking around, who wants to go to the pageant, because I was going to purchase all the tickets. You know, the tickets for spectators were like $65 or $75 or $70, something like that. And my uncle said to me, why am I going to spend $65? He's like, you're not going to win that anyway.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I was like, listen.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I did the next thing. And I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen, just so you know. I'm like, I'm going to win, and you're not going to be there, and you're going to be very regretful that you weren't there. But that's okay. I'm like, that's your prerogative if that's what you want to do. So that's what I'm saying. You have to have blinders.
Good for you.
And the naysayers, you can't listen to them.
Wow,
So
good for you, though.
So now, what does he say now?
Well, it was funny because I won Miss Massachusetts USA. Then I went to Miss USA and I won Miss USA, and he wasn't there. But then I was going to represent our country at the Miss Universe pageant.
Right.
He was the first one in Panama.
Oh, that's great.
Because he's like, oh my God, she might win Miss Universe too.
Oh,
you know?
fantastic.
Yeah, it's too funny. It was too funny. But you know, that's a story right there. And you just have to, the reason that I was able to kind of, you know, have blinders up to those kind of things, to negativity, is because I believed in myself. I knew that I could win the pageant. You know, I'm like, you know, out of all the girls that enter, somebody's got to win.
Yes.
Somebody's going to leave that night with a little crown on their heads. And I always thought to myself, why couldn't that person
Did you visualize it?
Absolutely.
Or you just believed it in your heart?
Oh, I believed it. I visualized it. I remember, like, I would get in tears when I would think to myself, like, just picturing myself on stage and having the outgoing Miss USA crowning my head.
So you're already living it, but you're visualizing living it and experiencing the emotions that went with it. That's a good point, because that's what they tell a lot of people, even sales, marketing, commercial, to do that exact same thing. Yeah, visualization.
It totally works. And I'm here as living proof of that, because I definitely visualized myself winning, and I thought about what that would be like, and I was so present with that feeling that, like I said, it would bring tears to my eyes, because to me, I knew that was going to be the moment that would change my life forever, and it has. It did, you know, and it was like deja vu when I really did win.
I know. I was going to say, was your visualization anything like the reality of being crowned? Did it same happen?
Absolutely, it was, because I could visualize it so well, because I knew what the outgoing Miss USA looked like. The current Miss USA, I knew who she was. I knew what the crown looked like. I knew what dress I'd be wearing. You know, so I had it on at one point. You know, so I knew what the stage was going to look like. You know, I knew what the picture was. You know, how it was going to be painted. I knew in my head already. So it made the whole visualization process a lot easier for me in that respect. But you're right. I mean, in sales and any job that you have to visualize yourself doing what it is that you want to be doing, and things happening in your visualization, what you actually want to happen in real life. And those things, I think it's a powerful thing. I really, really do.
Speaking of powerful, I mean, you are a powerful woman. I mean, you have a lot of things.
Thank you.
I mean, you can see it. You can see the confidence it exudes. Right. It's bigger than mine.
Wow.
To work out a little bit more. But okay, but realistically, I mean, going back to your education, and how did that help you out? Were there anybody there that motivated you, or something that you took that motivated you to further, anything like that?
To get to where I am today?
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, my mom was a huge inspiration in my life, you know, mostly because I saw how hard she worked to give me and my sisters, you know, the life that she never had, you know. And it was funny because she would always tell us stories of her upbringing in Puerto Rico, which was so important because I grew up thinking, oh my God, I don't have anything. We're so poor, we don't have much.
Right.
But then she would tell me these stories, and I'm like, okay, like all of a sudden we were rich. You know what I mean? Because she would tell me these stories how they would only eat meat once a week, and you know, ice cubes even. They didn't have they had a refrigerator, but they didn't have a freezer. So, you know, because they couldn't afford the whole, you know, the new machine that did both, you know what I mean? And I was like, wow. And she's like, yeah, we had to buy ice, you know, and ice cubes. And it was like never, like once in a blue moon, we never had soda. And it's like, we always had soda, you know, and juice. And she's like, oh no, juice, we never, it was just water, you know? And I was like, wow, Mom. Like, geez, you know, all of a sudden I felt really lucky to have everything that I had.
She put it in perspective for you.
She truly did, and it was, you know, she taught me about gratitude, you know, being grateful for whatever you have and knowing that no matter how little you think you have, there's always somebody out there who has even less.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really important. My mom was just such a pillar of strength for me, you know.
Good.
And
so,
and I wanted to do good. Just a little thing to add on, you know, it was great because I always grew up with this sense of, I saw my mom working so hard to give me a better life, and because of that, I wanted my dreams to come true, not for my own happiness, but because I felt like I can't let my mother down. If I don't go for my dreams, I am negating everything she's working so hard for. You know, she's doing this so that I can do this, and I can have dreams and go for my dreams. And if I don't at least try, then I'm failing my mother, you know. I felt that. So it was a win-win situation for me because, you know, it's really what I wanted to do, but then, you know, it was going to make my mom happy too, because that's all she ever wanted, is for her kids to just do whatever it is that they truly want to do in their lives and be happy. And that's what made her the happiest, you know. She was always very supportive.
So when everything happened, what do you remember something that she said that sticks in your mind? That
like when?
Like when you made, well, when I say you made it, it's kind of hard because you made it in different capacities. But let's say Miss USA, and then, you know, hosting and being on TV. Then now movies, you're doing movies now.
It's fun, you know, and it never gets old for my mother. I remember when I won Miss USA, for example, and I saw my mother. I've never seen her more pale and white in the face.
Oh, really?
She was like, she kept saying, "Ay, Susie, ay, Susie, ay, Susie, ay, Dios mío." Like, now what? Now you're going to Miss Universe. Like, oh my God, she just couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe it either, but I thought, I'm like, Mom, however proud you are of me, you should be 100 times more proud of yourself. Because I would not be here if it were not for you, and like the values and morals and the ethics, you know, that my mom taught me, and how to work hard. You know, it's like I learned that all from my mother. And like I said, words can't describe how much gratitude I have for my mother.